Good day, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Facebook Live. My name is Daniel Olukayode Adeyemo, and I'll be sharing a very interesting topic with you titled Copyright in the Nigerian Music Industry. Now, let's start with a simple analogy. Imagine a Mr. A. He feels he has all it takes to be in the music industry. He feels like once he drops that music, he's just going to blow like straight up. And let's say he's actually struggling with, his finances, and now he's got his family members to actually chip in, one or two for him. And then let's say he now finally puts out the music. And then eventually the music blows. Now let's say, okay, now he's starting to make money, right? So now let's say people now have the right to, come to his music and say, oh, I like Mr. A's music, let me do this, let me do that with this. And probably a person says, I want to make a movie, and I think this song will fit in this place, and the person goes and grabs the song and puts it in that side of the music without even consulting Mr. A. Do you think Mr. A will be encouraged to actually say he wants to, put in all the effort in putting out another music? Now, this is where copyright comes in, right? So what exactly is copyright? Copyright, you might want to define it on the face value as the right to copy, which is actually very correct. However, why don't we define it like this? Why don't we define it as a limited duration monopoly? Why this? Copyright allows you the opportunity to enjoy exclusive right over your music for a limited period of time. How limited is this period? We'll be looking at that shortly. Right. So now, it's also very important for you to know that copyright covers, it protects two subcategories of rights. We have the economic right and we have the moral right. Of course, you can imagine economic rights. I'm sure anything economic has to do with something of monetary value, right? So now, there are rights that are economic in nature, through which the artist is able to derive funds, right? So some of these rights, we'll be looking at it very shortly, right? So now, our moral rights are the rights that enables the artist to be called the owner of the song, the owner of the music. So this right entails that. Let me give you a very practical example. Joro was released by Wizkid, right? You won't see the video. So Wizkid has the right to be called the owner of Joro, just the way Davido has the right to be called the owner of Joro. You get that point? So now we need to look at the requirements for your work to be copyrighted. So if you want to actually enjoy copyright, what are the requirements? There are two basic requirements. We have the originality and then we have fixation. Now, what does originality entail? Originality requires that in doing your music, right, you are expressing yourself originally, right? It has to be an original expression of your artistry, right? So you can't actually just go and copy someone's work and think, no, it has to be an original expression. However, in even trying to express yourself originally, we've seen in time past how that there will be similarity in some lines, maybe a phrase or the lyric, in your song and another person's song. A very good example of this is Michael Jackson's song Human Nature, in his album produced by the great Quincy Jones in 1982. We see that the lyrics of that song, there's a particular lyric of the song that is similar to another song, Keisha Cole's Heaven Sent. You should check out those two songs to see what I'm trying to say. It was actually recently I noticed it because I was listening to Heaven Sent and then I heard a line of the song and I thought, come on, this is Human Nature, right? So I had to go listen and then I saw that they're actually very similar. So this tends to happen. Now let's bring this home a little bit. This song by by Danny Young. Danny Young released a song in 2009 named Ojuti by Danny Young. Now, if you look at it, Tiwa Savage in 2018 dropped a music video titled One, O-N-E, One. Now, if you look at both songs, you see Tiwa Savage actually used a Yoruba lyric, like a Yoruba prayer in a song, which Danny Young also used. Although this brought about a court issue, whatever, but I won't be delving into that for now. Right. So now, fixation is second requirement. Now, this requires that your work is fixed. Copyright does not protect what you think you've kept in your head. It doesn't. The moment you have the song or you have the inspiration to write a particular song, the moment you put that song down, it is protected. Now, we also need to pay attention to something. Of course, um, there have been technology advancement in these times, right? You see most artists when they come and say they want to drop their music, you don't see them put it on what do you call it, on physical things like sorry, CD-ROM or CD, VCD, whatsoever. You see them. Most people tend towards putting their songs on digital platforms like Apple Music, like Spotify, like SoundCloud, like Deezer, Boomplay. Look at those other. So if you look at this digital medium, you can't actually physically hold them. No. But then one test that matters here is that you are able to orally perceive that song. You're able to duplicate that song, right? So by saying fixation, we're not saying, okay, now you need to put the song on, although it still happens, people still do that. People go ahead and put their songs on physical, like CDs, DVDs, and then you can hold it and say, this is my record. But now, in these times, right, people tend to put their songs on digital platforms like we already mentioned. Now, what works are copyrightable? What are these works? What works can we say qualify for copyright? So we have musical works, sorry, and then we have sound recordings. Now, musical works. Well, on this point, there are two things for us to look at. We have the classical form of music and we have the modern, music we listen to. So, in looking at musical works, we need to look at two things. On the one hand, the lyrics of the song and the music score. That is, they are all in one group. The lyrics of the song and the music score, right? So that's on one hand. On the other hand, we have the lyrics, the beat, and the melody of the song. Now, for the first one, why I actually separated them is this. There are people that actually enjoy classical music. They go to the orchestra, they go to listen to live string quartet and everything. Those that go to Musanset do. So, you see, this category of song of music, it mainly consists of the lyrics, and then they will hire a composer to actually come and compose something around it, and then they perform it, right? So that is one on one hand. Now on the other hand, the music that most youth nowadays will enjoy, the ones that Whiskey drops and the video drops and Flavor drops and all that. So that one mainly consists of the lyrics of the song, the melody, and then the beats. We have the producer or the beat maker. They come in this place. So now, who are those entitled to copyright in this situation? Who are those entitled to copyright? The people entitled to copyright actually are the songwriters or songwriter, the beat maker, the composer. So I'm just merging everything together, right? So that is that on that. So now it's also important to know that once you put down your lyrics, it's not until you actually perform the song or you record the song that you enjoy copyright. The moment you put down your lyrics, you enjoy copyright over it. Now for sound recordings, this one is actually very simple. Just like your sound recordings, it entails you just recording whatever lyrics it is you've gotten. You get? So the moment you sing and then you record, the person in whose name the recording was made, you will be the owner of the copyright, right? So if I go to the studio now and say, okay, I want to drop a rap song or something, I want to record. The moment it is recorded, and I'm the one actually performing the song, right? So I'm the one that enjoys copyright. So the moment the recording is made, copyright accrues to that music whatsoever, right? So it's also very important to know that it's not actually the record label that has the copyright here. It's the artist who is recording the song. Please, let's try and get this right, right? So now the record label, yeah. Although most of the times you see that most artists they strive to actually want to belong to certain record labels, and then the record label actually gets their attention and then they bring them in. Yeah, so we see that in situations like this, the record label actually takes the stress off the artist by producing the song, publishing the song, promoting the song, and the record label, of course, incurs loss, costs in doing all this. So they go through a lot. So now, one thing that happens here is that in signing a contract with the record label, the record label, of course, they try to contract the artist out of his copyright. That is, they try to take the copyright off the artist so that they can actually recoup, expenses, So the money they've spent on production, on publishing, on promoting, so that's a way of them, getting it back, right? But then it's also our advice artists out there to actually, in carrying out this contract, get your lawyer. Get your lawyer. The record label will definitely have a lawyer. So your lawyers will go through the terms of the agreement so that you are not, cut short at the end of the day, right? So now we're going to be going into duration. So remember at the beginning we defined copyright, or I defined copyright as a limited duration monopoly, right? So we need to also understand that, of course, we all know that everything has a beginning, has an ending, right? So once you get copyright over a work, right? Once you actually get copyright, it's for a limited time. So let me give a very practical example. I like using Davido, I don't know why. Now, Davido, the moment he drops a song today, let's say he drops a song today, he enjoys copyright over that song all through his life. And then even when he passes on, the year after he passes on, he enjoys copyright for another year, a couple of 70 years, right? So after then, the song can then go out to the public. You get that? So it then goes out to the public. But then where there are actually two creators of the work, let's say he did the song with someone else, and they both enjoy copyright over that work, right? So the moment, let's say the video passes on, when the way you start counting is that you move on to the other artist. As long as he's still living, copyright still subsists. So once the other artist passes on, the moment he passes on, you can now start counting the 70 years after the year he died. Do you get the point? I hope you do. Now, where the work now is for the government, where the government actually owns the work. The moment it is published, the year after it is published, 70 years starts to count. So after then, the work goes into the public, so anybody can do anything they like with the music. Maybe this person has been wanting to, he wants to make a movie, and then he sees a song that, copyright has already ended. Can just pick music and use without any form of penalty. Now, let's go into economic rights. Remember we mentioned economic rights and moral rights earlier. So what are some of these rights? First, we have the right to perform the work publicly. Now, the moment Davido drops a song, you as an artist cannot go and say, okay, I like this song, let me go and perform it in public. No. You'll be infringing on his copyright, right? So you can't actually go and just pick someone else's song and say, okay, I love this song, I want to perform it. No. There has to be a form of license. The artist, the owner of the song has to grant you the license so that go ahead and perform my song. Now, a very, very good example of this is Cobhams. Back in 2016, 2017, thereabout, when he actually had a performance titled Songs and Stories. I'm sure some of you might be very familiar with this. In those performances, one of the songs he actually did was Kiss Daniel's Woju. So, for me, although there's nothing online stating that there was an agreement, there was a license, but then I can reasonably infer that, that there has been a form of agreement between the two of them, right? So usually these licenses come with, monetary value, monetary consideration, right? So it's okay to agree that there has been a form of agreement. So for Cobhams to actually go out and just pick his song and then perform it, it would have been without the permission of Kiss Daniel, would have been an infringement of Kiss Daniel's copyright. Now, another thing Cobhams did that I really appreciate is that he, beyond the economic side, he went on to give a shout out to Kiss Daniel, and that in law is a form of like acknowledging the moral right of Kiss Daniel. He went on to say, oh, this song, shout out to Kiss Daniel, this is a song, blah blah blah. Of course. So there he actually acknowledged the moral rights of Kiss Daniel. So that's how it works. Another right is the right to record the music. Of course, you write a song, you have the right to record it. The moment you write your song, nobody can pick your lyrics and actually go record it somewhere else. It's you that records the song, right? So we also have sale and distribution of your music. Now the thing here is this. Most times artists don't really have what it takes to actually go about pushing their songs out there, right? So most of the time they employ the services of music publishing companies. We have the likes of Universal Music Nigeria, You can name them. So what happens is that there's a license. The artist gives the publishing company the right to actually, okay, go ahead, market my music, publish it, and then it's usually for a limited time, right? So the moment this license is granted to the publishing company has the right to actually go ahead and say, okay, we are doing this because there's an agreement on ground, right? But ordinarily, it is the sole right of the artist. But then he can go ahead to, okay, I want to give this publishing company, please help me market my music, help me promote my music, right? So that's the way it works. And another very important point I particularly like is the sampling of music. Only an artist can sample this music. And what am I trying to say? You sample your music to derive a new sound, like a new form of music, a new music entirely. Now, although we can have instances where an artist goes ahead and samples another artist's music. So let me give you a practical example of this. For Rihanna fans out there, you know this song Umbrella, which she released in 2007, right? And then you also know Banky W's song, the one Ebute Meta, which he released in 2008, right? If you listen to both songs, you see that they sound alike, just the lyrics. The lyrics is the only difference there, right? So now it's very important for you to know that, although I think one can reasonably infer that, in fact, that there was a sort of like an agreement between Rihanna and Banky W on that basis. Because Banky W basically sampled Rihanna's song. That was what he did. And I believe that, of course, there will have been an agreement and then money will have exchanged hands and, so that's how that works. So generally, an artist has the sole right of sampling his own music to create another music. Now, let's quickly look at something, the remedies. So the thing is this. These rights we've stated out. The moment another artist comes and does anything contrary to the rights that originally assigned to you, that are originally meant for you, right? This brings about copyright infringement. So what can you do when another artist comes and does things to your music such that it deprives you of your financial benefits or your reputation under moral rights? Now, the first thing is that you, as an artist, through your lawyer, you can go to court, and ask the court that, see, court, please declare that there has indeed been an infringement of my right. It's for you to actually go to the court and say, see, there has been an infringement of my right. Please, court, declare this to be so. The moment the court declares this, of course, it is certified that, of course, there has been an infringement of the copyright. Now, another thing you can, seek the court for is, in addition to this other one, is that the other artist that is infringing on your copyright to be restrained from continuing in that act. Let's say the person has been performing your song, probably the person already posted on social media that, okay, I'm going to perform your song on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you brought your action, probably you saw the performance on Monday and then you brought your action in court through your lawyer. You can tell them that, please restrain him from performing this song on Tuesday, on Wednesday, or Thursday, or any other day. That is what this one entails. Another one is damages. Of course, in using your song, you will have gotten money. When an artist is performing, of course, people pay to come and watch you perform and do things. So now, it's for you to now seek the court that, court, please, we need everything, all the benefits he has gotten from using my song. We need the money, right? So damages, and of course, it even extends beyond that because it's just like he has done a lot of damage. He might have done a lot of damage to you beyond that, for the fact that he didn't even come and tell you that, please, I want to perform this your song. So damages, you can ask for a certain amount of damages subject to the discretion of the court, and then the court will grant it. Now, there could be an instance where the artist did not even know that work, where it is reasonable though, where he doesn't know that, the work is actually protected under copyright. So what would the artist do? You that are bringing the action, the other party saying, I did not know that that it was protected, or blah blah blah, something like that. Now it's for you to now say, okay, no problem. All those other ones we listed before, you won't even go there. All you just tell the court to do is that, let him account for profit. What does this mean? It simply means that every profit he has made, let them be moved back to you, since it's your song, right? So that is how that happens. Now another very important order is where, although in these ones we've mentioned, Usually the other party, the artist that is infringing on your right will be present in court that, oh, as your lawyer is stating all the things you want the court to derive to get back from the other artist. Now, this order, particularly, the other artist would usually not be in court. Let's say it's such that, you know, you have evidence, to prove that this guy is actually infringing on my copyright, and that evidence is within probably his house, his office, and then you don't want him to actually destroy it because you believe that if he hears about it, it might destroy the evidence just to protect himself. Then you can go to court and say, court, please grant us this order to go and search this guy's house, because we reasonably believe that there are evidence supporting the fact that he has infringed on my copyright. Sorry. So that's another order that you can seek the court for. And now, in conclusion, I would like to say this. Now, as an artist, don't just leave this job to your lawyer. Oh, this is my lawyer that wants to do it. I think you should actually have a firm grasp of the basics around your copyright. As you develop, as you grow as an artist, your intellectual property, the worth of your intellectual property increases. Why do I say this? A practical example is this. Just this year, we all know Wizkid, right? Then there's this other guy called Wizkid. The moment Wizkid dropped his Made in Lagos album, he went on and dropped his own Last Giddy Made. So of course we know we are Nigerians. Made in Lagos, Last Giddy Made. They are practically the same thing, just use of colloquial expressions and whatever, right? So, and not just that, they didn't stop at that. All the songs on Wizkid's album, he had the same title. And then now he used this in a way, he used this to, people, I don't know, maybe they didn't really pay attention, but then by virtue of using the same thing, the same pattern, Wizkid used in his own album, he was able to secure 30 million naira just from streams on Apple Music. And he's been enjoying this since like August 2020, up to April when this was discovered. Right. So this in itself shows that, see, as you grow as an artist, right from where you are currently, and as you grow, as you get better, as you get popular, as you get, the fame and the name that you want, whatsoever, it's very important for you to pay attention to your copyright, as it will save you a great deal. Trust me, you get a lot of financial reward from it. There are popular artists right here in Africa that they've used their songs. I've watched movies, Hollywood movies, where you see, this is our guy's song here, this is Wizkid's song playing. But it's not for free. It's never for free. They reach out to the management of Wizkid and they say, okay, we want to use this song. They ask, okay, what part of the song do you want to use? How many seconds, how many minutes? They look at it and then they pay and then they use it. So you can't afford to be ignorant of your copyright. So I hope I've been able to, instruct you basically, on the things you need to know around your copyright in the music industry. Thank you for your time and have a good day.